turned 24, Kay Golden. That is Overthinking. Greg, please can I get a massive 25th birthday shout out for my amazing partner Levi, please? Can you also reveal that her present is 2 tickets to see Sam Fender live in Finsbury Park next Friday? Oh, yes, Connor the Sparky, you've pulled it out the bag there. Also, a big happy birthday to Brooke, who is 13 tomorrow and is on the way to school at the minute. Mum, sister and brother all listening in the car. And they say they're all Gregulars. I haven't heard that for ages. Nice to have some Gregulars. Well, happy 13th for tomorrow, Brooke. You're a teenager now, aren't you? 8 o'clock, news time.
Radio 1 Newsbeat.
MPs who want to replace Boris Johnson have started throwing their hat in the ring. It's less than 24 hours since he resigned as Prime Minister. But he wants to carry on in the job until his political party choose a new leader who'll take office in Downing Street. Our politics editor Daniel Rosny has more.
This process could take months. Conservative politicians will put themselves forward as candidates and MPs will whittle it down to 2 options before members of the party will get the final say. Less than 200,000 people will decide who the new Prime Minister will be, and names like Rishi Sunak, who was in charge of the country's finances, and Ben Wallace, who leads the Defence Department, are expected to begin their campaigns soon.
Well, the Deputy Prime Minister, Dominic Raab, says he doesn't want the job, but some critics are saying someone should be brought in temporarily so Boris Johnson can leave sooner. Angela Rayner is Labour's deputy leader.
We cannot have him on for 3 months. The country is at a very difficult crossroads. We've got the cost of living crisis, the situation in Europe and Ukraine, and the Conservative Party are just marred in chaos and scandal.
In other news, Derek Chauvin, the former police officer who was found guilty of the murder of George Floyd in the US, has been given a new prison term. He's been sentenced to 21 years for depriving George Floyd of his civil rights and not providing medical care. He'll be served alongside the 22 years he received for murder. 2 of the most powerful figures in world football could be convicted today. Sepp Blatter and Michel Platini used to run FIFA and UEFA. Later, judges in Switzerland will decide if they're guilty of fraud and corruption. Both men deny the claims against them. And if you're one of the 50,000 people heading to Transmit Festival in Glasgow today, ScotRail's warned they're running a reduced timetable when some headliners like Lewis Capaldi and Paolo Nutini finish. On Friday and Saturday night, the festival finishes at 11 p.m, with the last trains running from Glasgow Central just minutes later. On to sport, and there's going to be no more Rafa Nadal at Wimbledon. He's had to pull out of his semi-final with Nick Kyrgios after struggling through an abdominal injury in the previous round. He says he doesn't want to make it any worse.
I can't risk that much and stay 2-3 months outside of the competition because that's going to be a tough thing for me.
It means Nick Kyrgios will face either Novak Djokovic or Britain's Cameron Norrie in his first Grand Slam final on Sunday. Meanwhile, Tunisian Ons Jabeur and Kazakhstan's Elina Rybakina are through to the women's singles final.
It's a dream coming true, from years and years of work and sacrifice. So I'm really happy that's paying off.
It's just amazing to think that you are making history.
They're the first women from their respective countries to make it to a Grand Slam final. Moving on to football, and at the Women's Euros, Northern Ireland's historic debut at a major competition ended in a ruthless 4-1 defeat by Norway. And England's men's cricketers lost their first T20 match under new captain Jos Buttler as India got a dominant 50-run win. He says they can bounce back though.
Turn up to the game and to Edgbaston with a lot of confidence and sticking to our game plan.
This is Newsbeat. It's 3 minutes past 8.
This is BBC.
Coming up at 1.
Matt and Molly will be playing Matt versus Molly at 10:30. Matty Chiabi. But right now, it's Radio 1 Breakfast with Greg James.
Radio 1 Breakfast with Greg James.